Good afternoon, City of Refuge. Thanks for joining me this Friday on this windy Friday. What a weather week we've had, right? We started with some snow on Sunday and then freezing temperatures on Monday and Tuesday, and then it felt like we were headed towards spring, and while the temperatures aren't bad, the wind is just crazy. So I hope that you're all staying safe. I hope that you're all, enjoying what God has given you, but also what God has put in front of you. I want to take a few minutes to just share the things that are going on this weekend, as we have a handful of things happening this weekend, and then those things that are coming up in the week and even the weeks to come. So tonight, it's Friday night. Tonight at 6:30, the women's ministry is hosting a girls' night, just a night to get together, to eat together. I believe there's some games planned, fellowship, encouragement, just an opportunity for the women of City of Refuge to gather together, to build one another up, and just kind of breathe together. So again, that's 6:30 tonight. If you need any information, if you need the address, anything, reach out to my wife Melissa, or you could just go to our Facebook page because all the information is there. Then tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, from 8 to 12, there's going to be a workday at our property at 35 West Broad Street in Burlington. So there's been some work that's happened this week that has been pretty exciting, some first steps, and then there's going to be more work tomorrow. So here's what we need tomorrow. We need people that have either construction skills or strong backs. So there's going to be some building that happens, there's going to be a little bit of demo that's happening, and then there also needs to be a lot of hauling away. So there's a lot of stuff that's been torn apart that needs to be bagged up, that needs to be removed and thrown in a dumpster so that we can get things cleared out and start taking those next steps. So if you need any information, you can reach out to me, to Melissa, to Paul Shellhart. But again, tomorrow, 8 to 12, if you don't have the whole time, any time would be appreciated. Breakfast is going to be provided. And I'm just looking forward to getting a lot accomplished and also just having some fun and some fellowship together with those who are able. And then, again, of course, tomorrow night, 5:30 is our weekly gathering. We'll be here in person at Grace Alliance Chapel, and then we'll also be live streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. So we have some new software, and so now we're able to live stream both on Facebook and on YouTube. I know that's a blessing for many of you that don't use Facebook. So that's where we'll be, 5:30 tomorrow night, as we gather for our weekly time together of worship, intercession, the scriptures, and fellowship. This week we will continue into our theme for the year of Him. This transition from we to Him isn't an easy one. Because one of the things that I've noticed as I've really been praying and really searching and even watching and listening is that we talk about ourselves most of the time. Even when we're talking about God, we have a tendency to talk about ourselves. We have this tendency to believe that He is great because He does great things, rather than understanding that He does great things because He is great. And so this transition is not easy, and some of the preaching isn't easy, and I know some of the hearing isn't and probably won't be easy, but I'm praying that we'll stick together and that we will trudge through the discomfort so that we can get to the place where we really see God for who He is. Not for what He's done, and not even for what we want Him to do, but we simply see Him for who He is. This week we're going to be looking at Deuteronomy chapter 6 and talking about what it means for God to be one. What it actually means when Moses tells Israel, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." And so I encourage you, read Deuteronomy chapter 6, especially verses 4 through 6, verses 4 through 8, and come tomorrow night so that we can enjoy this time together. And I pray that the Spirit and the Word will search our hearts in a deeper way. For those who can't make it either in person or in the live stream tomorrow night, the service will be replayed on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock on both Facebook and on YouTube. And then next week, Wednesday night, February the 23rd at 7 o'clock is our next Bible study. So Bible study will be online only. It will be on Facebook and on YouTube as we dive into finishing Revelation chapter 21. You may remember that was the plan a couple of weeks ago, but we had a bit of a church family emergency, and I felt that it was important that we spend that time praying together rather than just going through our, keeping on our schedule. And so I'm grateful for those that had that opportunity to pray with us, and just looking forward to finishing Revelation chapter 21 and really talking about the whole point. Revelation 21, as it comes to its conclusion, tells us the most important part of the New Jerusalem. And it's not the stuff we talk about the most. Again, going back to how we talk about ourselves. We talk about streets of gold and crystal seas and pearly gates and walls and all of these things. And yet the most important part of the New Jerusalem, the thing that will capture our hearts and keep our attention forever, has nothing to do with any of the stuff we usually talk about. So read Revelation 21 together. It would be great if you would join us on Wednesday night for that. Finally, there will be a sign-up sheet available tomorrow night at service for those that would like a book for Seek God for the City. So we'll be doing Seek God for the City for at least the 10th time. It's 40 days of guided prayer, taking us from Ash Wednesday to Palm Sunday, praying together for our community, but also praying for the nations, for Jesus to be glorified during the Lenten season, for souls to be saved, and for communities to be transformed. If you would like a book, there is no cost. I just need to know how many to order. So if you're not here tomorrow night, you can send a message here on Facebook. You can email me. And I'll make sure to order one for you. You can also, if you want the information, to order one yourself, or there is an app available. The app is $1.99, but if you prefer that, just reach out to me and I'll get you all of the information. But please remember to sign up tomorrow night. The other thing is, thank you so much for the support with the sweatshirts, where the proceeds are going to our building fund. We have a few left, mostly smaller sizes. I know that some of you have reached out and asked if we could get even larger sizes. That's already in the works. If you haven't gotten any and you want some, just reach out to me. We're going to be putting another order in to Jeff at Whole Armor very soon. So just reach out to me. Let me know what you need, and we'll order them. You don't have to pay them for them until they arrive. So those are all the announcements, and there's just one thing I want to share with you today as we finish. For those that have been going through the reading plan, isn't Isaiah incredible? Like, I know that we've read it, we've heard it, we know bits and pieces of it, but as we're reading slowly, some days less than a chapter, some days a little more than a chapter, but as we're reading slowly and talking to each other about it in the private Facebook group, it's just like it's growing. It's like it's increasing, at least it is for my heart. And I just want to share with you one verse today from Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1. It says, "A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. From his roots, a branch will bear fruit." A stump is not usually something we see as very productive or as very useful. In fact, when I see where a tree has been taken down and the stump is left, I usually think of it as an eyesore. I usually think of it often as something that could cause danger. Someone's going to trip over that. Someone's going to drive over that. And so the idea that a stump can become the basis of the Messiah, that which looks like it's been cut down, that which looks like it's been torn out, that which looks like it is dead and has no more life, can actually become the basis of all the purpose of life. What a picture God paints for us. That so many times it looked like God was done with Israel or Israel was done with God, and yet God, being true to his word and true to his character, was always preserving a remnant, was always preserving a stump, because from Israel would come the Messiah, and for Israel would come the Messiah. And so think of this, when Israel seemed at its darkest, that's when God was about to shine his brightest. It makes me think of John chapter 15. Where Jesus begins by saying that he is the vine and we are the branches, but then he also tells us this, that our Father is the vine dresser. And then he goes on to tell us what happens by two vines and two branches and how we bear fruit. But there's just the one thing that I've been thinking about a lot this week, and that is the vine dresser is always doing one of two things. He's either pruning that which already has sprouted, or he's planting so that there can be more fruit. And so that's what's happening in our lives right here and right now. Some of you are in pruning stages, and I know it feels like you're being abandoned, but you're not. You're being prepared for greater growth. Some of us, it's time for something new. It's time for us to let God have his way and plant more, because while we may be content and satisfied with where we are, God is not. And so both things require effort, and both things require trust, and both things require complete obedience. And so I would encourage you today, whether you're being pruned or God's doing a new planting, trust him. Yield your heart to him. Don't hold back because you're afraid of the pain, and don't push forward because you want what you want. Let God have his way, Because even from the stumps of your life, he can bring forth branches that will bring forth the fruit that he has always promised and he's always purposed. I want to encourage you today, look around your family. Look around your house. Look around your hearts. Look around the community that you live in. Look around the community of Burlington where we're called to. Look around and notice the stumps and start asking God to show you how he's going to bring forth life in places that you feared that all that was left was the remains. God is good, and he will do what he said he will do. I look forward to spending some time with you guys. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night or at the workday. I pray that the women would have a blessed time of fellowship tonight, and just asking God that he would show us himself, and that in seeing him, we would decide that we want nothing else. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend.